Welcome to episode 91 of Auto Off Topic.
What's up, Brad?
Not much. How you doing, Andrew?
Doing well.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well is better than bad.
Yep. We did not, unfortunately, get to STPR.
Unfortunately, we did not. Life happened, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had a very good friend of ours. His father passed away. We had to go to the services.
Yep. Yeah, very unexpected.
Yeah, so bummer all around. But it was more important to be there for him, so...
Oh, 100%.
I know Liz and Jordan got there. They got to see it, so
yep.
We'll probably hear about that in the future.
Yeah, we should probably have them on to talk about it, and maybe Dan to talk about it as well.
Yeah,
guest
yeah.
on the show, who actually ran it.
And get an update on good old spaghetti. I hear it's at the...
Cage shop.
Cage shop, yeah.
The spaghetti transporter is at my shop right now because I'm getting tires for them for it because it came... The spaghetti transporter, of course, is the former camper trailer.
Colander.
Yeah. The former camper trailer turned into a car hauler. It came with 4 mismatched tires. And by mismatched, I don't just mean by brand and tread pattern. I also mean by size.
Oh.
So 2 of them don't actually touch the ground.
Oh, yeah, that's probably...
So the left front tire and the right rear tire kind of hang in the air.
I like my trailer to teeter-totter down the road.
Well, I'll tell you what, it pulled pretty straight for a trailer with mismatched tires on it. But the final nail in the coffin is one of them doesn't hold air for more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
So we had to take care of that. So
I didn't realize that trailer tires are just trailer tire. Like, it's literally like trailer tire. Is a size?
They can be, yes. Yeah. That's the standard trailer tire size. However, this trailer has 4 15-inch Chevy steel wheels on it.
Oh.
So a trailer tire is not the tire size. The tire size is whatever tire you can get 4 of the cheapest in a 15-inch.
Oh.
So it's getting a set of 4 15-inch Fusions in a 195/60 15, I think.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, but
narrow.
They were just used tires that I got for $25 a piece.
Yeah, but you don't want a big wide tire to drag.
You want something as narrow as possible because A, less rolling resistance, and B, it's easier to turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got little 195 55s or 195 60s. I don't remember. But I just went down the used tire shop, and I was like, what do you got in a full match set that's cheap and has half decent life left in it? So
I want
$100 for 4 tires. Can't really go wrong.
2 45/50s on my trailer.
Right. I need to stretch the tires on my trailer, please, actually.
Yeah.
I need to stance the trailer.
What is considered low profile anyways? 60?
60 is not very low profile.
I thought it was 50 because somebody said to me the other day, or
it depends on what year you're asking the question.
Somebody commented on my wife's picture of her Subaru.
Okay.
And they're like, because they had a Crosstrek too, and they're like, I can't believe, the tires are wicked expensive for my Crosstrek because they were low profile. I was like, they are not low profile on a Crosstrek.
They are compared to like an 86 Cutlass.
Yeah, that had like 85s on it.
Yeah, but I don't know. 60s, I think it depends on what year you're asking. Like a 60 is not a low profile. I don't think.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it ever was.
I would not consider that low profile at all.
I think a 50 was considered low profile. Cause I remember when the Corvette C4 came out, it had like a 225/50. Yeah, and that was like 16, and that was exotic.
Yeah,
everybody's like, "Oh my God, these people are gonna be screwed when they go to buy tires. They're gonna be so expensive." But now that's like a Honda Accord.
And they were what Z-rated, which meant over 150.
They were good over 100 and some odd miles an hour.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, they were Goodyear Gatorbacks. I think they were. I think that was the tire that came on the car.
And I think anything 50 and under is low profile.
I would say 50 under is low profile, yeah. But I'd say anything 60 is not.
No.
Because, 60 series tires on...
50 and 45 is like... 40 series is like... That's about as far...
Well, the smallest I've seen factory is on the new
Honda.
Honda Type R.
With the 30 or 35?
35. Yeah.
I've seen a couple...
I think it's a 215 or 225, 35, 20.
Yeah, I've seen a couple Audi Volkswagens with 35s.
Yeah, that's the smallest I've seen as far as a factory tire
it's
goes.
like a rubber band.
It's very thin.
And they're like, you hit a pothole and it blows your tire out because it pinches. It's like a bike tire.
There's not enough movement. There's not enough like squishable space.
Yeah, so it pinches.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Plus they ride horribly.
No, you need sidewall.
Yeah, I had 40s on my Volkswagen.
Yeah.
supposed to have 45s, but I got a free set of 40s.
Yeah.
So I ran 40s,
And that
they
thing would
sucked.
smash. Yeah.
It smashed over.
And they
like,
were run flats, weren't they? So they're extra stiff.
Yeah, they were.
Sidewalls.
And actually, I broke a wheel once with them. Remember that on Route 114 in PB?
Yeah.
I actually broke the wheel, and it like caverned up on the inside when it snapped the wheel. But it was run flat, so I could drive home on it.
Yeah. Weird.
But yeah, I don't recommend super low profile tires because they're annoying. I have 45s in the Sapporo too, or they're too little.
Yeah.
That car will ride a lot better this year on the 50s.
I'll tell you what rides real cool. 31s in the truck.
Yeah.
Body on frame trunk with big balloon tires is like, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a Cadillac. Like my truck's the same way. I have the giant tires on it and big cushy leather seats, and it's like driving my living room to work every day.
I was like, oh, this makes sense. I get it now. This is why people like body on frame pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Because it rides like an old American car from the 60s.
However, your Montero we're talking about
Yeah.
rides a hell of a lot better than any standard 1500 truck does.
Yeah.
It's a lot less crashy. They do not ride as good as that truck does.
It depends on the trim level, but
Even like my truck's a fully loaded like luxury truck, but it's 2500, and your truck rides way nicer than it.
well, anyway, we went way off on that tangent there on Sidewalls.
okay.
I don't remember, how did we even get there?
We were
Trailer
talking
tires.
about trailer tires and the fact that the spaghetti transporter, which is not a colander,
No.
however, it's made out of about the same gauge metal, is getting new tires on it in order to tow the car successfully, hopefully, to NEFR in like a month and a half. About that? Middle of a month?
Yeah.
A month and a week? It's coming up fast.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they get the car sorted out in time, because I think they got to finish the cage, and then they're taking it to get tuned, I think, right?
Tuned up.
Yeah,
Like-
not like dyno tuned, but like just gone through by an expert in Volkswagen fuel injection.
Yeah, because it's probably going to stay with what it has for now.
Yeah,
With the, whatever the hell that's called, the Bosch something.
CIS,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible thing that I managed to fix.
the computer injection system or something
I don't know. I got it to run
with a hammer.
with a hammer.
Yeah. So, being as the fact that it was tuned by Andrew with a hammer, it should go to somebody else who knows what they're doing in order to make it tuned properly.
I did what they told me to do
Right.
via text, and I was like, well, I'm going to hit this with a hammer, and we'll see what happened. And then it ran,
Yeah.
and it ran for like long enough to get on the trailer and get to the cage builder.
Correct.
And I don't know exactly what I did to fix it other than hitting it with a hammer. And maybe we just got lucky. I don't know.
Well, regardless, the hammer method of tuning is not preferred. So they're going to take it to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. And I'm going to go with them so I can learn the ways of...
Yeah, I'd like to go as well, so we can kind of have a better understanding together of how the CIS operates, because I have a feeling that we're going to be dealing with it for a while.
Yeah.
So, plus, I've owned cars with it before, and they just kind of worked.
I have an old
So
book
I never
for
had
it.
to. I never had to look into it because I had my Audi 4000 had CIS, and that car ran very well despite the limited time I put into it. The car just ran. So
I don't think it was ever not driving, though, for a long time.
never sat.
Yeah.
It did have 300,000 miles.
We were also told, like, the secret is, like, a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil every fill up.
Keep it lubricated.
Yeah. You have to oil inject your...
Thankfully, my Audi 4000 was quite oil injected via oil spraying out of every surface
yes, it was.
allowed.
Rust proofing, perpetual oil change.
The rust proofing didn't work because the car was very rusty, but the perpetual oil change worked out well, and it kept everything lubricated under the hood. So anyway, still off on a tangent. Project car updates, Andrew. I think that you have a few.
Oh, I think I stole it this week. 99 Montero. We've been talking about the skid plates.
This week or every week?
No, we've had a couple of weeks where we've done stuff for you.
Oh, wait, we did a little bit of stuff on my car, so we can get that afterwards.
Yeah.
But anyway, go back to the Montero.
The adventure-driven design skid plates that I've been talking about for like 3 months, because every time we're down here, I could stare at them
Right.
in the corner.
And we kept talking about how nice they were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they are super nice, but we finally actually installed them.
I can still see the box they came in.
That's true.
So
I had the other one, the front one, the mid skid installed before. I took it off to do some
front
servicing.
one is the mid skid because we don't have their front plate.
I had the
have the
factory
factory
front
front plate.
bash plate,
Yeah.
a black bash plate. If you look at a picture of my truck, Yeah, they do make a nice stainless one with an opening for a winch, but
We'll get there eventually.
yeah. And then a transmission one never existed, so they designed a transmission.
Never
one
existed from the factory. Is
Yes.
what you mean? Like the truck is pretty well protected from the factory with a fairly thin plates. They make a stronger plate, but the factory never did one over the transmission.
Yeah,
And the transmission is like this big, huge, thin aluminum pan hanging down. So
pretty well tucked up in there, but
all it takes is one.
there
iron
is
rock.
there is a mark on the pan from it being hit. So,
So you didn't do that though.
no, I did not.
Somebody who used to own the truck and went off road, he did that.
Yeah, it's but they used factory. There was factory provisions for a couple places for it to mount, and then we had to add 2 more mounts. So we actually made there's a YouTube video of it. So if you go to our YouTube page, which is all off topic,
Yes.
you can watch the video of us installing it and adding in the extra hardware, which were riv nuts, which are sweet. So you don't have to reach up underneath the pan.
And the riveting
underneath the skid plate.
commentary of us installing
Yes.
the drive nuts as well. Yes.
Yes, very nice. Nicely done. Yeah, so you don't have to reach up over the skid plate and try to counterhold a nut to screw these 2 nuts in. So you can just drop it.
Yeah, you sunk in a riv nut so you can just
Yeah.
bolt it in. Like
Sweet.
it was factory style setup.
So yeah, that was that went really well because the parts fit really awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful. The only thing we had to fiddle with was your truck didn't have skid plates, so you didn't have hardware, so you had to buy hardware.
Yeah.
And you could have bought maybe a little bit longer of a bolt. But that's nothing to do with adventure-driven design. That's 100% based on your bolt selection.
No, I mean, and I was limited because I didn't buy them ahead of time online.
Yeah, we had to run to Home Depot and buy them.
Yeah. And then I also fixed the CB, which I think I talked about before. I had
You did.
suspected that I wired it incorrectly.
Because every time you turned the truck on, it reverted back to channel 9 or something.
Well, every time you turn it on, you could set it to a channel, and then it would flip back to channel 9, which was like the default power-up channel. And then if you flip the headlights on, it would also do the same.
It would revert back to 9.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me one day, after months of thinking about it and looking at it, I was like, I wonder if the constant power for it, which was the same color as the dimmer wire, I wired them together. So I just needed to cut that splice and then splice it to the constant power wire of the radio harness.
So every time you turned the headlights on, it was interrupting the power because it was wired together. And it was thinking it was rebooting up on channel 9.
No, it was... So you're driving around without the headlights on, so there's no power going through the dimmer wire.
Okay.
So it would... Even though you were powering it with 12-volt power, that wasn't enough to keep the memory in it, strangely, and it would revert back. And as soon as you turn the lights on, and I could set it to a channel, and it would stay on it as long as the lights were on, driving around. And as soon as you shut the lights off, it would flip back. So
Just confused it somehow.
it needed to have constant power for memory, even though it was powered by 12 volts. It's very weird that it works that way. Because like a standard stereo just gets its 12 volt power from the car, and then when you shut it off, it uses the constant power, a very
Save
small
your
amount,
presets
just to
and
save
whatnot.
your presets. But then interestingly enough, the Kenwood head unit I have in there does not have a constant power wire. It has some sort of RAM in it that...
Like an internal battery or something?
No, I think it's just a flash memory. Because I've had it unplugged from power, plugged it back in, and it remembers all the settings.
That's bizarre.
It's just a modern radio, I guess.
Yeah.
That's just the way they do it now. And it doesn't have any...
Modern? What's this word we talking about?
So, whatever. It's fixed. It was my mess up. I installed the antenna. I tuned it.
I feel like this is 2 weeks in a row we've had an Andrew mistake we had to talk about.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Hey, I admit my mistakes.
Oh, no, I do too. I make way more of them than you do, so
I,
it's okay. That's why I had to call you out on them.
It works. I turned it to channel 19 a couple times. I heard a couple truckers, and then it's mostly silence. There's mostly nothing.
Well, you're not on the highway. There's a lot more.
See, I'm usually on 495, which is a big truck route.
But you're on
Nothing.
495 during commuting hours.
I see a bunch of trucks,
Trucks
but they're
avoid
not,
commuting hours.
they're not really talking to each other, I guess.
You need to go out in Colorado in 1977.
Yeah.
And then you'll hear plenty of talking.
I need to go steal some Coors Light and bring it
Yes.
back.
Texarkana.
And the Galant. I talked about getting ECM link, and then I sent out the ECU to have it looked at. Turns out there wasn't really much wrong with it. There's a couple. I think he did replace one capacitor and then fix one solder, but it was covered within the price of their just basic inspection service,
which is good and not good. It's good because it means nothing is wrong with it, but it's also not good because it means it wasn't like a simple catch-all solution to your little running problem.
Yeah.
So now we have to diagnose what that is.
But now
at least you have a baseline.
I have a baseline, and I can, when the check engine light comes on, I can pull the trouble code.
Okay.
And that might...
You couldn't before?
No, because you needed MUT1. It's not OBD.
Okay.
Well, it's not OBD2. It's not standardized. You need a vehicle-specific diagnostic tool, OBD1. That's why they eliminated it.
Which now you don't need.
I don't need because ECM Link will allow me to hook up to it.
Okay.
And it will tell you DTCs and among other things. I did get the...
DTCs are trouble codes, of course, for those who don't know.
Well, I think most people would know.
Let's say somebody out there might not know.
Right,
We're just throwing a three-letter word out there.
Diagnostic
Some people
trouble
are more casual mechanics than, others.
Yep.
Whenever you throw an acronym out there, you should probably explain it at least the first time.
All right. Fair enough. I did get the tablet to work, which is kind of cool. I'm going to have to order I already did, a Bluetooth mouse because the touchscreen's not great. Can you believe it? On a $55 tablet
No,
with
I cannot
8-inch screen, the touchscreen isn't that great?
I cannot believe it. Honestly, I have a much more expensive tablet with an 8-inch screen, and then touchscreen's not that great on that, too. So,
and it's weird because it doesn't... I kept trying to do the pinch to zoom, and maybe it's a setting in Windows 10 that I don't know about. It's the Windows 10 tablet, but pinch to zoom doesn't apparently work. So you're trying to...
double tap zoom?
Maybe... You're trying to I'm trying to press these radio buttons on a desktop program basically on a tablet with my finger. It doesn't work great.
No, a small tablet too.
Yeah, so, it's super annoying. So I got a little Bluetooth mouse coming, and that'll make
However,
it
you
easier.
say the tablet works pretty well otherwise though.
Yeah, hooked right up.
That's Windows.
It's Windows 10.
What brand is it?
Novo something.
Nuevo? New?
Something. It's
the product new. We'll call it Nuevo.
Yeah, it's just it's just a random ass tablet that runs Windows 10.
Well, I kind of want a cheap Windows tablet just to.
This was $55.
Knocking around, so.
And
maybe I'll pick one up.
You can tell it's pretty cheap, but
whatever. That's all I want is a cheap piece of crap tablet. Just something to keep in the car to use for whatever. Yeah. Just. I don't want to bring my laptop someplace. I just have that in the car and worry less about it, basically.
Now, the good news is I thought I had to rewire the wideband to send the proper signal into the ECU to data log it. Mm-hmm. Turns out I hadn't read the instruction manual for the wideband in a while because I installed it years ago. So I went through and I was double-checking it. There's a radio button that you can turn on the back of the gauge for different modes.
Oh, okay.
So I had it set for position 4 on the AM wideband, which sent a signal out of its analog signal wire that was for a narrowband output. So the ECU thought that the signal that was coming from that
was a standard
O2 sensor, and that's how the car was running. So then I flipped it to the default setting, which is the way they come, and then that has so like a narrowband sensor is like 0 to like 1 volt or something, or 0.1 volts. Probably getting that wrong. And then wideband is like 0 to like half a volt or something. I'm probably saying this wrong.
Oh, whatever. It's different.
It's different enough. And then, but now you can send that signal for the wideband into the ECU. You go into ECM Link, the program, and you can flip a couple of radio buttons and tell it that the front O2 sensor is actually a wideband. You need to data log it, and then you also need to simulate narrowband output for the ECU.
So it does both.
That's
cool.
It's pretty cool. It's really cool, actually.
That's cool. Yeah, this is the stuff that I think we talked about last week. I want to learn more about tuning and what I'm doing.
It makes it pretty straightforward, especially once you have a wideband.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the wideband one you can put in the tailpipe to tune a carbureted car.
Yeah, car's basically a rolling dyno once you have a wideband.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more about that. Plus, we'll be putting my Galant together for the next few weeks as well, so I'll need to get that running properly as well. So
Well, wideband, the AEM one's like $130 or
yeah,
something.
we'll probably wind up going that route.
And it's easy to wire in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't need to run. You can run it as is. You just know what will go. You just know what's going on.
Speaking of that car, and not to hijack the whole thing, but if anybody out there in our audience is looking to get rid of or to sell a stockish turbo and a stockish downpipe for a VR4 or 1G Talon Eclipse, it would be appreciated.
Oh, that's right. I
let me
forgot
know.
that had a lot of shaft play in it.
Yeah, because I need a new turbo and a downpipe to put that car back together.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to buy a new turbo because they're expensive, and it's kind of out of the budget right now. So
I have one sort of in the garage.
yeah,
So it was former guest Jeremy Nutt had a
former owner
spare.
of my car. So
Had-
probably used to be in my car.
He had a spare 13B turbo that was
That's the one with the automatic, right?
Yeah, to go to Vinnie McMahon to use in the
Right.
rally car because he needs to run a restrictor, so a 13B would make more sense.
Right.
And actually, yeah, I was going to ask him about swapping if he needed that 14B, if he'd let it go for cheap. So,
Yeah.
I
Well,
think-
we'll see. But yeah,
talked
I'm
about it
looking. I'm looking for a turbo and a downpipe at the moment. If anybody knows of anything available for a decent, I'm not looking for anything free here. Just something that's not $1,000 for a new turbo, basically.
just need stock stuff.
Yeah, just need stock parts. Just get the car running, and then if I want to change in the future, I can change in the future. But for now, I just want to make the car run and enjoy it.
I have a stock muffler for that car in storage,
I'm not worried about the muffler.
but I don't have a.
It's the downpipe is what I need. The muffler's
Yeah.
fine. So
Yeah. Anything else?
anyway, I just kind of jumped on yours there. Were you done with your project car updates?
I don't think I have anything else.
We did fiddle with the
that's right,
78
yeah.
Colt again a little bit because I'm still having that annoying overheating issue on the highway. And we've changed everything. We fixed everything. We put a different radiator in it, but unfortunately it was another used radiator, so who really knows? I flushed it a half a dozen times. We drained it. We saw like a muddy substance in some of the cooling fins. It was kind of like mushrooming out of the top of the cooling fin in the radiator. So we flushed it again, cleaned it out. It's still overheating on the highway, so around town it's fine. I could drive the car all day long around town up to like 45 miles an hour. Not an issue. Car runs exactly at operating temperature, which is the first black line in the gauge, and it's not a problem at all. The second I try to do a continued highway speed at 55 or above, it rises within 15 to 20 miles. It just goes to from operating temperature to pegged on hot, and that pull the car over and let it cool down. So I don't know what the holdup is. I'm going to send out the radiator and have it clean, cord, whatever, go through it, make sure it's good. I mean, we've talked about this 1,000 times, so people are probably tired of hearing it. I just need to get that done and do it because it's literally the only thing left. And we checked everything. The water pump is pumping, the fan is blowing. I mean, the coolant is circulating. It runs fine at idle. It could sit in traffic for a week and be fine. It's just on the highway it overheats, which is the most bizarre problem I've ever had in a car.
Yeah, but you haven't flushed the stuff out that's in there yet.
The current set I have not.
Yeah,
flushed
drop
out.
that this weekend and just put straight water in it
Yeah,
without the stuff.
Cleaner.
Yeah,
well, we'll see what happens, but
see how it comes out.
one at a time. I just need to make it running better because I want to take it on a couple of longer journeys this year. I'd like to have it running good by NEFR because I'll probably want to drive it up there.
We should, we should tuck the bumper.
The rear bumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. We
What's
talked
up?
about doing it this week, and then we got busy. So it didn't happen, unfortunately.
We should do a video on that because that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, we can do it this weekend if you want.
I was thinking about it.
Get nothing going on.
What did we do for events other than working on cars this weekend?
Oh, I have one more project car update.
Oh, okay.
On my Silverado, my daily driver. The air conditioning stopped working, so I needed to diagnose what was wrong with that. Thankfully, I work in a place where we have an AC machine,
Yep.
which makes it a lot easier to diagnose things because I was able to evacuate the system so I could see how many pounds of Freon were in the system
Yep.
and see if it was low, because if the Freon is low, the compressor's not going to kick on.
That's right.
So I evacuated the system, and it had 23.5 ounces, which is where
Sounds pretty full.
it belongs. 24 is full, so 23.5 is operating range, totally fine.
Yeah. And that can vary on temperature, actually, too.
Yeah, 100%. So it's not. So we knew it wasn't an issue of it having a leak somewhere because it had plenty of pressure in the system. So we evacuated it. Once you found out how much was in there, put it back in again. So we didn't put. We're going to put a dye in if it had a leak, but it didn't have a leak because it had plenty of Freon in it. Then I went to the electrical side of it and I checked the fuses for everything related to the air conditioning, and all of those were fine. Turned the system on and checked power at the connector on the air conditioning compressor. And obviously that was fine. It had power when it was supposed to have power, but the compressor clutch was not kicking on. So the last thing I did was turn the system on at the coldest setting and then get a giant pry bar and kind of push the nose cone on the compressor. And it kind of skipped a little bit. Like it turned a little, turned a little, turned a little. And I sprayed some penetrating oil on the back of it and pushed it again. And it spun freely. And it compressed, and it pushed cold air into the cabin.
That's all it was?
So
Just seized up?
It seized up. It's still seized up, though.
Oh, okay.
So it won't. So it's too seized that it won't start on its own. So what I've been doing the past few days, when it's been warm enough, which it hasn't been the past couple of days, because it's been 53 degrees the past 2 days for some reason.
I thought we were going to make a episode without talking about the weather, but that's okay.
This is not. We're not talking about the weather. We're talking about my air conditioning in the truck. So kind of by default, you have to talk about the weather.
Okay.
So the day I was working on it originally was Monday, and it was like 85 degrees on Monday. However, on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's been in the 50s and lower 60s. Anyway, so yesterday I drove home with the air conditioning on, and I sprayed it with penetrating fluid, and I jump started it again by like hitting it with a pry bar, and then I sprayed it again after I stopped. So tomorrow, when it's warm again, I'll drive the truck to work, and I'll do the same thing in the morning. I will spray penetrating fluid on it, and I'll jump start it, and I'll leave it run for the whole commute to work. And then I'll just keep doing that for a few days and see if I can free it up.
Yeah, because you probably buy a separate clutch.
I can buy a separate clutch, but it's still like $180. I'd rather not spend it if I don't have to.
Yeah.
But the good news is the system works, and when you jump start it and you get it spinning on its own, you have air conditioning.
Yeah.
So,
hold on. I need to turn the air conditioning off. Let me get this pry bar out.
Hey, listen, you just have to get out of your car and turn a crank to start it. So,
okay. All right.
I'm a little ahead of the game, I think, if it was 1910.
I mean, that's why you have to run it in the wintertime sometimes.
Well,
you should run it with the defrost.
Do you know what's funny about the air conditioning system in the automatic AC unit of a Chevy truck?
What's that?
It will not turn on if the ambient air temperature is less than 36 degrees. So you can't run it in the wintertime.
Weird.
Yeah.
Because usually it comes on for defrost because you want to dry out the air,
right,
and that helps to frost your windshield.
Right. It will not come on if the ambient air is less than... I was reading like the diagnostic tips on them, and one of the things is if it's less than 36 degrees ambient on the indicator in the car, that says the ambient air temperature. If it's less than 36, the compressor will not kick on.
I wonder if other cars are like that.
I have no idea, but that's why I don't use it all winter, because I physically can't use it all winter.
Yeah, I mean, the real...
You just forced me to talk about the temperature again right there. That was your fault.
I mean, just having the heat on defrost. Eventually, you will defrost your windshield because it's just blasting hot air
on it, yep.
But it does work quicker if you can use the air conditioning system to pull moisture out of the air.
Well, you can't in a Chevy pickup truck with automatic AC. So it's automatic climate control. I don't know if that's why. Maybe the base model ones, you could do it because you have a physical switch you can push. But on that particular car there's just no way to turn the AC on if it's less than 36 degrees outside. So most people don't care because you don't need your AC when it's 36 degrees outside.
Yeah,
so the AC goes down to 60. It's not going to do anything anyway.
Oh, you know what else I did before we get off Project Car Updates?
Mm-hmm.
No, we left Project Car Updates, did we?
We're still on them. We're talking about my air conditioning. Okay. Yeah, we're good to go.
Lost track here. I put a new ignition, the electrical part of the ignition switch in the Montero.
Yep.
It was not very expensive. It's super easy to swap, and I think that was my random no start because I would turn it and hit the starter part, nothing would happen. Not turn it all the way off, tap it again, it would start. So I took when I had the switch off, I went to turn it, it was super notchy and just felt worn out. It's probably the original switch.
Right.
180,000 miles of starts. So I think that was all it was. But
I ordered.
It took me 5 minutes.
I ordered a couple of parts too. Speaking of project cars, for 2 long dormant cars.
Man, just bonoses for project car updates.
I keep remembering things here. I ordered the transmission input shaft seal for the Sapporo, so we can fix that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to require an afternoon of effort of just dropping the tranny, putting the part in, putting it back in again.
Probably a whole Saturday.
I'm saying an afternoon being ambitious.
Yeah.
But it'll be a Saturday. We'll start in the morning and finish as soon as we can. We've had the transmission out before, so it's not a mystery, though, so it's not terribly difficult to do. There's only one bolt that's really hard to get to, but we'll figure it out. And randomly, I was on Rock Auto looking for the ignition parts for the 79 Colt that we just picked up.
Yeah.
And I happened to notice there was a section for body. So I clicked on it to see what parts were available in it, and they had a trunk lock, which is random.
Yeah.
Like, it's a universal trunk lock, but it's fit for that car. So I was like, I wonder if they have one for the 74, because it's one of those weird parts that I need for the 74. So I pulled up the 74 Colt in Rock Auto,
Yeah.
and they have a trunk lock for that, too.
Oh, weird.
So I needed a trunk lock because somebody punched it out. So I now have a trunk lock for the 74 Colt on the way as well. So, not that the car is anywhere near at the point where it's ready for a trunk lock, but I have the trunk tied down with a bungee cord till I got a lock for it. So I was like, oh, they have a trunk lock. I'll get that. So, anyway.
Well, the funny thing is when you drive old cars, everything you do to it is a parts car update.
No, 100%. I'm super excited about a trunk lock.
Yeah.
Like, most people could just go to the dealership and be like, hey, I need a new trunk lock, but I can't do that because I have a 74 Colt. But Rock Auto happened to have the trunk lock. So, random pieces of all pieces of the trunk lock. So, regardless, I ordered it, and now I'll have a functional trunk in that car.
Well, I know the good thing is that since the Galant is pretty much sorted again, I can move on to the Talon. So,
well, we still have to figure out your running issues. I mean, you had the parts to figure it out. We haven't figured it out yet, so we're not there yet.
I don't think it's that far off, though. I think I know what it is.
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
All right. Excellent. I hope you do, because you'd have your car out. It's summertime.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, speaking of going to events, let's see, Sunday morning, what did we go to? Was which Cars and Coffee? Was Seacoast Cars and Coffee, correct?
Seacoast Cars and Coffee, yes. Which I think was the last Seacoast Cars and Coffee at Cinemagic.
In Portsmouth.
Yes, I think they're going to move it down the street to a different parking lot, I think is what I heard.
I think that's definite, yeah.
Because it overgrew that parking lot. Something fierce. How many cars did you say were there?
100?
More than 100. The main parking lot's easily 100 cars, and it spilled over into like the McKinnon's parking lot and the restaurant parking lot. I'd say probably double that, to be honest with you.
I mean, it was a really nice day.
It was a gorgeous day. It was a little chilly in the morning, but it was a gorgeous day,
No, it was
so
nice.
everybody came out.
And that's a decent event. I mean, it did kind of devolve into a Rev Fest, which is
I don't
super
understand.
annoying.
I don't understand that. I brought this up before with the event you were not at. And that's what I was talking about. Once one person starts revving, it becomes like lemmings. And all of a sudden, there's just revving going along all different parts of the parking lot.
I don't know why. I don't know.
And it's not even like the guy in the Ferrari or the guy in the Lamborghini. It's like a guy in a Subaru and then a guy in a Honda. And then you heard one Subaru, you heard them all. Sorry, Subaru fans, but they all kind of sound the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what your Subaru sounds like. And it's annoying when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody and a guy gets in the car next to you and just starts bouncing it off the rev limiter over and over and over again. I'm starting to dislike these events because of that.
Yeah, I just don't want that. Just hang out.
And flying drones.
Literally,
don't fly drones at a car show.
Literally just stand with a coffee and talk to your friends.
Cars and coffee, not cars and revving and coffee.
Yeah, we do. We sound like grumpy old men, but no, seriously, like just.
Well,
just
no, I'm glad that you got to experience what I experienced that first time, because that's the same kind of thing that happened at that show you did not make it to, and it really ruined the experience for me.
I did. There was a couple standout cars.
Mm-hmm.
The Toyota Levin.
Yes, the AE86 Levin.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That was right-hand drive.
It was imported from Japan, I'm sure.
No, sorry. Yeah,
right-hand drive.
Right-hand drive.
Yeah, you are correct. Had 13-inch Watanabes on it, which 13s on a AE86
That's
chassis.
a nice fat sidewall.
They look really good.
Yeah.
It looks appropriate for the car, which is funny because it's actually downsizing because factory it would have come with 14s.
Oh,
So it looks really good though. It made the car a real standout car. It had a nice stance, nice meaty sidewall, 13-inch wheel, Pioneer, Carazier. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Carazoio? I don't know.
Whatever
Those
they
shelf
are.
speakers.
They're the shelf speakers in the back that light up. Carazier.
Yeah.
Whatever the Japanese name is. Carazier.
Something. I don't know.
Carazier. Anyway, they're really cool, and it had these cool seat covers over like what looked like mint condition seats that had almost like a Recaro style gradient pattern, but said 11, 11, 11, 11, 11 instead of Recaro. Those are really cool. So the 11 is the version of the A86 with the fixed headlight, not a pop-up headlight. So that's the difference between the 11 and the Trueno.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with Torino, as we were saying at the car show.
No, and then the other really cool thing was a super cleanly swapped 4-door E30 with LS.
Yeah, I missed that, but I saw the pictures you took of it.
So good. It was so nicely done. Even had AC worked. Like,
Yeah. I wonder if he'd get out and jumpstart it.
I don't think he did. It was in very nice shape.
So was my truck, but yeah, there were a couple of cars there that were real standouts. There were like 4 original Minis there, which is weird for this area. You don't see that many of them usually.
Yeah, I saw, actually, I think you weren't there yet, but Patrick, Mudhen Racing,
Yep.
on Instagram, he was there with his classic Mini.
Oh, one of those is his?
Yep.
Which color was his car?
The dark green one, I believe, with the white roof.
Okay, the one on like 13-inch wheels, the bigger wheels. That's really cool. I saw pictures of it. I didn't know that was his car. I thought that I actually did not know he had that car, so that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's real into Minis.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was a lot of cool cars there. There was a Triumph, what would be called a Herald overseas, the convertible version of it. They just called it a Sport 1200 here. It's basically a 4-seat Spitfire. Mm-hmm. That was really neat. Yeah, that was pretty much everything else. Was pretty standard fare. I think the car of the show for me was that maroon 914. It was like a concourse level restored 914. 4.
Okay.
Yeah. It had Arizona antique plates on it, though, so I don't know if he had just bought it from Arizona, or maybe he has a home in Arizona and registered there for whatever reason. Weird. But Arizona has the best-looking antique plates.
Yeah?
They're like a polished copper with red writing. And they look classy as hell. They're really nice plates. So I was like,
cool.
That's really cool. It really matched the car, because it was a deep burgundy car with the copper plate with the red writing. It just the whole car came together really nice, and it had the, you call them Brenner wheels or whatever they are on the 914. It's like a flat alloy.
But speaking of things not to do at Cars and Coffee, is burnouts.
Oh, yeah,
too.
burnouts, yeah.
That guy with the Brodozer.
The Brodozer to end all Brodozers, too. Like, it was a tall truck.
Yeah. Ripped like a burnout in front of what? A
964 turbo.
964 turbo.
Yeah.
Like a mint 964 turbo.
Yeah.
And then basically just...
angry.
Yeah, basically did a burnout and rolled coal like right onto his car.
Yep. Yeah, I would have been quite upset if that was my car. I mean, I was standing next to it, and I was quite upset for the owner of the car.
Yeah, and also like a few feet away from that, this guy had a converted Sprinter van with his doors open to show off.
Yeah,
like,
camper van.
Yeah, I want all that black,
all white and light gray camper van.
Yeah, I want all that black soot inside my camper van.
Yeah, that guy's clearly an asshole.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I know that truck, because that truck visits somebody on our parents' street all the time.
Yeah.
It's weird that was the truck that did that.
Is it weird that it did it? Because
it's not weird that it did it. It's just weird that I know the truck from Salem, Massachusetts, and we saw it up in Portsmouth, New
if
Hampshire.
we're judging on how it looks, then I clearly expected it to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, just don't. I don't know. I don't understand.
I tried not to judge people based on what they drive, but I'm really bad at not judging people based on what they drive.
Yeah, but like you didn't. Like really,
I say I don't do it, but I do it all the time. So
I know, but like
he was an asshole. Period. He lived up to the stereotype. He was an asshole and a Brodozer. He was a crowd of people. He easily could have hurt somebody. He could have damaged something. He could have picked up a rock and thrown it through something. I mean, there's no reason to do that.
Just don't do it.
Don't even do it leaving the parking lot, but especially don't do it in the parking lot.
Yeah.
He was in the middle of the show, like
just,
rolling between people.
Just be cool.
Yeah, and that's not cool. Don't act cool. Be cool.
Yeah.
Big difference.
No.
Yeah, there were a few jackholes there, but unfortunately, that is to be expected at an event like that is publicized on Facebook.
I know that they do keep track of that. So.
Oh yeah, he will not be allowed back. He'll be thrown out if he shows up again. No question at all. So speaking of that, I know that there's no date announced yet, but we're going to do a listener Cars and Coffee.
Yes.
Listener and friends of Auto Off Topic Cars and Coffee.
Yes, we're coming up with a date for that.
By next week, I think we'll have a date set.
We will.
Maybe no location yet, but we'll have a date set because we need to start getting planning on it. And it's going to be advertised here only and word of mouth to friends. There'll be no internet presence of it. We don't want the Roadozers to show up or the crowd of new Chargers or the crowd of new Camaros or any of that stuff. Just our own little thing.
20 WRXs. I mean, if
we invite all our friends, there will be 20 WRXs.
Yeah,
That's beside the point.
Listen, like, new WRX, if it's your only car and you need something that can drive you to work every day and it's fun and sporty,
go ahead.
Great car.
Yep.
Do I want to see 20 of them in a row at a car show?
No,
I don't care.
No.
Sorry.
But it depends on you too. It depends on the owner of the car. I'm not as concerned about the quality of the car as I am the quality of the person that comes with it. I just don't want assholes in the parking lot.
We want cars and people.
Cars and people?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I like it with some coffee to.
Yeah. And then a couple cars.
We prefer to do cars and beer, but it's not really PC, so we don't do it.
No.
Cars and coffee it is.
In the meantime, however, Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee, the next one, this is in Salem, New Hampshire, at the Coffee Factory, is June 24th. So
okay.
That's the next one.
And the next event that I'll be at, I don't know if you're going to be there, Andrew, is German Car Day on the 17th.
Oh, we did talk about that.
Yep. That's at Lars Anderson in Brookline, Mass.
Yep.
It's obviously a car show for German cars.
Yeah. It's on Father's Day.
Yep, it is on Father's Day. I know that former guest AJ Vega will be there in his 300D.
Yep.
The one that I borrowed for a couple of days. My goal is to have the NSU running in there.
Okay.
In 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I was talking to my father today about that because it's actually stored at his house. So I'm going to try to get that running this weekend, and I'll hopefully have that there. The car's all registered, ready to go. I just need to.
All right, so maybe
get it
won't
moving.
Tuck your bumper.
We can do both.
That doesn't take much.
Yeah, I don't think getting the car running is going to take much either because it ran when parked. It will run on pouring gas into the carburetor, so I just need to clean out the fuel lines. That's all.
Sure.
It sat for less time than it sat last time it sat
and
when I bought it, so I'm not going to have brakes done in time. It has brakes, just at a parking brake.
Okay.
So I'll just park on flat land and be fine.
All right.
It doesn't have parking brake or a gear you can park it in, because when you park the car, when the car is off, it's always in neutral.
Oh, that's right. You got to bring your own chalk block.
So I got to bring my own chalk block because I don't have chalk. I know I won't have parking brakes in time, so that's beside the point. It has a chalk block in it because I'm used to it.
Okay, fair enough.
So we'll get there. I do know where to get brakes now. I have a set in Canada that I have to actually just send the gentleman some money, and he'll send them down to me. I won't have him in time for that. I want to get the car running first. So,
all right,
needs to run before I have to worry about stopping, right?
Cool. All right. So I think that about covers it.
Pretty much.
We did have beer tonight.
We did.
We might as well talk about this real quick before we get out of here because it's really good beer.
It is really good beer. It's local too.
Yeah, Jack's Abbey.
I'm not sure how far out they go distribution wise.
I don't know. They're out of Framingham.
Yeah, Framingham, Mass.
It's blood orange wheat, a Radler. It's only 4%, but it's super good.
It's refreshing.
It's really good for hot days.
Yeah, it's refreshing beer.
We had some after we finished with the Montero the other day.
Oh yeah, the skid plate install was powered by the same beer.
Mm-hmm. So
it's only 4%, so you can't even tell on the video.
No. You can read some of my stuff on Gearbox Magazine.
Yep.
You should listen to the podcast Gearhead Project from Gearbox Magazine.
Yes.
Brian over there, another former guest. We're just dropping guest names all over the place this episode. As always,
once a guest, always a friend. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
As always, you should like and subscribe to us on Facebook, all your favorite podcast apps. Leave us reviews if you want. We do have stickers. I haven't got any sticker requests in a while. I believe I
think I have one that I need to send. We need to send out.
Okay, well, you've got a set of your own stickers you can send with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Throwing
that's
shade on
why.
me.
That's why I gave you half.
Oh, I thought they were putting on my own things.
Half.
Yeah.
Half of 100 stickers.
No, I'm just being a jerk.
Yeah, so listen to us on all your favorite podcast apps. Follow us on Instagram, Auto Off Topic. On Instagram, Auto Off Topic Podcast. On Facebook, follow me on Instagram, Raced in Anger. Go to our YouTube page, Auto Off Topic.
Yes, because there's new videos there.
Yep.
Or a new video.
We're going to try to keep that up more regularly. Do some little quicker.
Yeah, it's not difficult.
No, we're going to do more like. Won't be a lot of like super how-to stuff. More like kind of vloggy stuff. Like just. I think we're going to do
I think it's getting over looking at ourselves talking, because we've gotten over hearing ourselves talking.
Yeah, it took me a while.
But now we're going to have to get over like seeing ourselves in video.
That took me a while too. I'm over that now.
Yeah, you do it for professionally now. So
Yeah, I mean it's been
don't.
about a year, so that's how long that took me.
I like to hide behind a telephone when I'm at work.
Yeah. So where can they find you, Brad?
They can find me at all those same places they can find you. And then on Instagram, my own personal Instagram is TSISS350.
All right. And on that, keep your guys analog and aim for the roses.